Hi, I'm Mitch Gallagher. Welcome to the Sweetwater Minute. Today in the studio, we see dead people. Right? How's that? Good.
Good. Good
Yeah,
one.
really clever, right?
Yeah, like that intro.
Yeah, the Deads are here. We have Meta Dead, guitar, vocals.
Yes.
Billy Dead, drums, vocals as well.
A little bit.
Right. Daisy Dead, bass. And we have Betty Dead, guitar and vocals. Welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.
So you guys are doing a workshop in the studio.
Yep.
Tell us what's going on with that. What's happening?
Ooh, well, yesterday we recorded 6 songs live with the drums and bass and guitars, and then today we've been overdubbing some guitar solos.
Wow.
And we're going to do some vocals.
So with a workshop, then you basically have an audience. You have people there
Yeah.
who are learning to
Yeah.
record, and you're kind of performing in front of the group.
We were just talking at lunch about it. It's been very fun.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely not been an issue. But it's been more of just, well, that's an experience I haven't had before.
Yeah.
A little bit of nerves and just a strange combination of performance nerves and studio nerves. Like, I don't want to mess up this take, and I want to make sure that they're engaged as we do this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Adds
it's
a
been
little more stress.
Yeah, right. So the workshop lasts for 3 days then?
Yes.
And you'll take 6 songs home that you basically finished out of the...
yeah.
That's working really fast.
We're done basically. We
Yeah.
just have to sing on them now.
Wow, that's going very quickly. So the band started in 2014? Is that right? And you had a fortuitous meeting with Lizzie Hale.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Okay, great. Yeah, I met her on an airplane. We were actually we told the people participating in the workshop about this. I was getting on an airplane and I was on Southwest, and you don't have assigned seats, and I just saw 2 people that clearly looked like they were traveling together. They looked like the same kind of style, and they had all their stuff in between them, and I was like, those people are together. I'm going to sit with them. So I was like, is anyone sitting here? They said no, so I sat by them, and it wasn't until the end of the flight I started realizing these guys are musicians, and I'm very shy, but I was like, just make a friend, like say something nice. So as I'm getting off the plane, I spoke to them for the first time, and turns out it was Lizzie and Joe from the band Hailstorm, and a few months later they were opening for us because I didn't realize. I guess I knew they were Grammy-winning artists, but I didn't know that it would be weird to ask them to come play acoustic at our show, and they did, and we sold out the place we played, and we've been friends ever since, and they took us out on tour.
Right, you guys were opening act then for them as well. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
The one time they opened for us acoustically, and
That's
then
very cool.
and that was their opportunity to see us play, and they saw us play and wanted us to join them on the road a few months later.
All right, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's not the only rock star connection. You also worked with Paige Hamilton, right?
That's right. Yeah.
In one of your rock cruise events that you guys were doing. Tell us about that.
That was so cool. Well, where did the page that was on Shiprock?
Yeah.
Shiprock, in
Yeah.
2016.
Yeah.
That was just me being charming again. I interviewed Paige for one of our friends that has a magazine or online articles and
Revelator.
photographs, and it's called Revelator, and I interviewed him for that along with my sister, and we kind of hit it off, and we told we were fans of the band, and we just told our manager at the time that we'd be interested in working with them, and he was like, well, they're interested in working with you too. So
Yeah.
That's great. He ended up producing your second album.
That's
correct,
Is that
yeah.
right? So what was that experience like working with him? Did he have? Did you come in with the songs and then he worked with you from that point, or was he there from the beginning or later? How did that work?
Yeah, we came in, we did it in 2 sections. First, we recorded out in LA at NRG, and then we recorded the second half later in 2016 in Nashville. And we had a set of songs, and we did pre-production for one day in LA we thought it was going to be an EP at first, so we had probably 7 or 8 songs, maybe more, and he narrowed it down to 5, and we recorded 5 out there, and then we had more pre-production in Nashville in June, I think, 2016. And we had a bunch of songs. I had 15 maybe, something like that, and he narrowed it down to, I think,
6 more.
Yeah, 6 more songs. So we recorded 6 more in Nashville, and that became our record for your Blurration.
Yeah, his process was less about, and we've talked about this before, but it was less about, the songs were finished in structure and lyric and everything, and it was more him honing in on performance quality, just the way we were playing, kind of honing our skills as opposed to and our execution of those songs as opposed to being like, let's make this chorus really pop or something. Let's change. It wasn't so much reworking songwriting as it was, let's really make these performances incredible. At least that was my
like getting all our strokes the same, guitar strokes.
tightening the performances.
Yeah.
He's not one to do a lot of editing in post. In fact, there wasn't much done at all, I don't think. So he wanted to make sure we dialed it in.
Right. When you're working in a session like that, or even what you're doing here for the workshop, do you record as a whole band or do you layer the parts together?
This one was the whole band, and we're just layering vocals and some guitar solos.
Is that typically the way that you worked in the past albums? No?
Normally would be, lay the drums down first and the bass and rhythm guitar and kind of stack it like that. But
For Lyric Obliteration, we did the drums, the energy. That was a different studio, and we did the rest of it over at Toshi's.
yeah,
So that was like even a different studio. You can.
right. So that time, like if I heard something different, I couldn't. There's no way of me going back and fixing anything.
No
so I just had to,
return.
Right.
You're
The
right.
tracks sound live. They don't sound like you're layering. I mean, it's incredibly tight though, especially the dynamic shifts that you guys do. How much do you practice those in advance, or how much pre-production goes into those?
You mean on like our studio albums? We're very rehearsed usually when we go in.
Yeah.
As far as when we're going in, we have a very clear mindset of what we're recording. In fact, she usually knows, sends our whoever's producing, like, here's the beats per minute, here's the beat mat, here's the we have them pretty dialed, if that's what you're asking.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a lot of pre-production that goes in then, which lets you work faster in the studio.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Right.
cheaper. It's
Yeah,
cheaper
exactly.
to figure it out ahead
That's
of
our
time.
goal. Yeah.
But it also keeps it fresh then,
Yeah.
because you're not doing take after take after
Right.
take. To,
Yeah.
Yeah, and it does build some confidence, I guess, too. It feels good to get in there and just nail it.
Yep.
Right. So what is the songwriting process?
It's different. I guess we're experimenting more lately than we have before, but usually our go-to is just we all get in a room and someone brings a riff or a vocal or a drum beat or bass riff or whatever, and then we'll just build a song around that one thing. And it usually we'll know within an hour if it's working or not. And if it's working, we'll have a song in 2 hours. And if it's not working, we'll know.
We'll have
Yeah,
snippets
we'll-
of something to
we'll
use.
try to-
leave it.
We'll try to make sure we have the exact, to our best understanding of what the song sounds like it needs without vocal, a musical track of intro, verse, chorus, whatever the format of the song's going to be, and we make a recording of that in the one rehearsal. And then I'll take that right over whatever the singing's going to be over it, and then everyone will listen to it the next one, and we'll be like, okay, we need to shorten that or lengthen that.
Yeah.
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 But it's pretty much, I'd say it's a 2 rehearsal process
Yeah.
for each song.
Right. I hear a lot of an amalgamation of a lot of influences in your music. There's punk there's some grunge, there's some thrash, there's some metal, and then there's these kind of lower dynamic, kind of sweet sections. And who brings each of those different aspects into the band?
Yes, we all do.
I think we kind of like have been playing together so long that now we're just sort of like a melded pot. Like we all like our influences have influenced each other. We share music, we share artists that we like, and we start to listen, and then when we write now, it's like
we're trying to write for each
we're
other.
like kind of like writing for each other now. It's actually kind of cool.
I think
so.
you do bring thrash. If there's anybody that, as far as
Yeah.
like the sound, and that's kind of
thrash,
like your
some metal.
style.
Right.
I'm tonally, I probably bring a lot tonally as far as chord choices, especially on choruses. That would be my thing. Like I'm bringing in a lot of 90s grunge element with the chord choices that I make and the melody choices I make. So I'm probably loading us full of the Nirvana and Helmet and Self and whatever all those weird 90s bands are.
Yeah,
Pretty
I'm
much
not, I'm
like-
not really sure. It's not me. I'm like, I don't know what I'm bringing to the
think-
table.
I suppose I bring math.
We listen to a lot. We all listen to.
I bring the math. Like if I can like help say like, well, this is 8 bars too long. We should, I'll kind of input stuff that way. So anything that's very mathy, like pretty much Green Day, Foo Fighters, that kind of stuff, 80s rock. That's mainly what I would bring to the table, I think.
I feel like she
Nerd.
definitely brings in some nice hard hitting pop choruses.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And she's always willing to do some odd time signature that's uncomfortable. She's
Yeah.
always willing to do it. She'll be like, I don't like it, and she always rocks it.
Yeah.
She's willing.
How do you keep those transitions? How do you keep the groove going when you go through those different transitions?
That takes probably a combination of us just nailing, like, you know, we've found our groove pretty well, I think, over the years. So over the 3 years, for all those years.
So concentrated time.
Yeah. So I think as long as we're, if our transitions are nailed, then I think it's pretty.
Yeah,
It's
that's
not too
true.
hard. If I can hear where it's going,
If I can
it takes
hear
me
it,
longer to
it helps
figure it
you.
out.
And if you
Yeah.
can hear it, that helps me. Sometimes, we'll get together.
Yeah.
I feel like we've kind of gotten to the point when we're writing, like, if a transition isn't working, we all know. It's just like we play through the song and we all look at each other and go, that exact spot, let's look at that. It's pretty clear when...
Yeah.
We definitely aren't tone deaf to our own bad writing. So,
And there's like no hurt feelings either. If we're like something doesn't work, then usually it's like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you said something because I thought what I was playing was horrible.
That's pretty unusual, though, because it's hard not to be invested
Yeah.
in what you play and what you've brought to the table, and this is mine, and it must be great.
It's not like mine. It's like everybody's because this is a whole team effort. You know, that's how
Yeah.
we've gotten so far.
You can be in love with a part. Like, there's
Yeah.
parts I've written where I'm like, I really love that. I'd love to keep it if we can. Like, I'll feel strongly about something, but if it's not serving the song, it's not
It's
serving the
exactly
song. I have to
it's about
get
the
rid of
listener.
it.
Yeah, and we do it so quickly that there's not that much time to invest. It's like, I really loved that 5 minutes ago.
hot tip to not getting in
then
love
we're
with
like-
what you write it really fast.
Then we're like, oh, you loved it. Play it again. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Should have recorded
That's
it.
the easiest way to not fall in love with anything you wrote is write it when you get there.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you don't have time to think it's great before someone shoots it down.
Yeah.
Right. You guys have had a pretty quick rise in 3 years. You've the band has blown up nicely. The Motorhead cruise had to be pretty interesting working with those bands
my
that have
God.
been.
It was a
classic
that was a
bands.
huge vault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the band was about a year old at that point when you'd done that. What was that like
It
stepping
was
into
just-
that?
like
stepping into
a
that
year
environment.
and a few months.
Yeah.
So crazy.
It was Slayer and Motorhead.
Slayer,
and-
Anthrax, Motorhead.
Suicidal tendencies.
What
Yeah.
up, Lauren?
Crowbot.
Right.
It was like my
Huntress.
heaven.
Yeah.
She's on a cream dream thrill
I'm not a fangirl usually when it like comes to music. I'm like excited to talk about it, but that was definitely an experience because I was too shy to even go up and be like, hi, I really like your music. I'm like, oh my gosh.
They were
We're
everywhere.
go hide in a
eating
corner.
breakfast like Slayers at the next table.
I'm
You're
like,
just like,
I'm like, okay.
I kept
hope they
I'm
don't
gonna
see us.
freak out.
oh, look at us.
Making eye contact with Scott Ian, which is
Yeah.
weird. Like accidentally, like I didn't
I'm
mean to-
sorry, I'm here.
Yeah,
I know. It's like
I bow to your greatness.
Don't
I'm
let
not
this-
worthy.
Don't let this reflect on our opinion of you that we're even here.
Yeah, right.
We don't think we're equal.
So tell us a little bit about the process of how the band has grown through the years, because you've used a lot of social media. There's a lot of photos on your Facebook page, on your website, and you guys have really worked that angle of it. What's involved with building a band these days?
Well,
Branding
know.
and
Branding,
asking.
yeah.
I think when we first started, we weren't serious necessarily about it, but we all were professionals in different industries, and we all had kind of management experience, and we kind of knew some things about business, and we were like, well, if we're gonna play band, let's like play band for real. We all had money from our jobs, and it's like, okay, let's pay someone to do it, write logo, and let's like act like this is the real thing. And I think that putting the, how do they say it, like putting the carriage before the horse or something, like we did that for fun. We
Yeah.
gave ourselves, we're like, we're gonna be like the Metal Spice Girls, let's give ourselves names. We were just, it was all for fun, but because we have marketing backgrounds, it was happening for fun, but it set a foundation to scale. And so then once we saw, the big change to me was when we got our fan club, which we also came up with at that time too, of like, if we had a fan club, we could call them the Dead Core, because it's like, looks like corpse when it's written out, and you hashtag it, and it's, so we were just coming up with all this fun stuff, and then it ended up being the foundation that could scale to where it is now, and all of our success is fueled by that fan club that drives, our fans drive everything that we do now.
Yeah.
And what about releasing the music? these days? Are you releasing mainly on physical media? Are you doing downloads? How are you working with that?
I guess both. I
A little
mean,
bit of both, yeah.
yeah, we'll try and do both. I mean,
CDs and digital.
yeah, I mean the fans. Obviously, everybody wants the tangibles, you know, and I think that's important too. But also, the world's going digital, so you have to have digital sales.
Sure.
That's kind of what goes back to the fan club and how it drives success is that
Yeah.
you have to have fans that want the hard, like she's like, everybody wants that. And it's like, well, everyone in our fan base wants hard copies, but that's something very special, I think, to our group. And it really helps us on the road because it pays for our ability to do this. So.
Yeah. And it doesn't, you know, we definitely notice it and appreciate it too because we're willing, you know, and not willing, we want to put in the effort of, you know, right when, if we get to a show, we set up, but then we're present as soon as doors open to meet with everybody. Right. We're there until the very last person leaves too. And our social media presence is always there. We communicate with our fans because, you know, they become friends. So it's more of a family than anything. So, we appreciate that. We know we would be nowhere without them. So
Right. Yeah. Do you divide those tasks up so one of you takes Facebook, one of you takes another aspect, or do you all work on all of it?
Yeah, I mean, I do quite a bit of it, but then we all take turns too.
Yeah, the fans know, like, depending on what media they're on, they'll have a guess of who they're talking to. We all have the logins, and occasionally Daisy does a beautiful job with our social media on Twitter and Instagram, and but occasionally we will jump on there and like be talking to fans too, and they're like, that doesn't sound like Daisy. They kind of know who they're speaking with, and she runs our Facebook. But we'll all jump on all of them, and then of course we all have our individual accounts as well, and it's just a matter of finding, you know, stepping in for your buds when they're tired, you know, like taking care of each other, and if anyone raises their arm and is like, I'm tired, not just social media, any aspect of running this business, which it is a business, is just taking care of each other, and if someone's tired of doing a job, trading out, because we run all our own business as well, so it's a lot to I just having been a solo artist for years and years, like I can't stress the value of having a team, like to have a team where there's so many bands that it's like one person's doing all of it and the other people are just like in the corner smoking pot and or whatever. It's like to have a group where everyone's taking that seriously and realizing that that's an important part of our success is, I just can't even express how awesome that is. We're very lucky to have each other to fall back on, for sure.
Many hands.
Yes.
Right. How important has video been to all of that? Because you have a lot of performance videos and you've got little snippets with each of you doing things in interviews and things. How important do you think that's been to your career?
If you don't have content, no one's going to know who you are. And if you have to have something that is easily searchable, and if you can't search for it on your phone in 5 seconds, no one's going to ever know who you are because radio's kind of getting lost. You know, there aren't very many bands that are just going for radio. Right. And I don't even know what that means anymore either. So you have to have content out there for people to be able to look you up when Lizzie Hale mentions, I love the Dead Deads. Who the hell are they? And you have to, that's why we put so much effort into it, because if it's not there for people to find, they're not going to ever worry about it again.
Yeah, because we're not signed. So we don't have anybody shouting from the rooftops who we are. The only way people are going to know is champions like Corey Taylor from Slipknot or Lizzie Hale from Hailstorm or Tom Peterson from Cheap Trick, Chuck Garrick from Alice Cooper, or whoever else these champions are for our band that have seen us live and say, hey, I know you trust me, fans. Go check these girls out. That's our lifeline. So we can, they have to have, if they say that, like she said, they need to have a place to point to. Yeah. Besides go to Nashville and find some obscure club and see them.
Right.
Right. So we're always willing to put in the money behind making videos, and a lot of the live stuff the fans will take video of, but our our official videos that we make. You know, but you have to put money
I
into
think it helps
it.
keep them engaged too, because I mean we have fans around the world that haven't ever seen us, that they found out about us one way or another, like say through Corey, and yeah, they checked us out, and the same thing, they saw the videos, and now they're, you know, they wait for
They're
the
in
next thing.
Brazil and they want to see us live, and there's only one way to do that right now, and that's on video.
Right.
It does work though. I mean, you know, Corey Taylor, you know, if he gets interviewed and people ask him like, what's your new up and coming favorite band or whatever, a lot of times he'll mention us, and we get a lot of comments on our videos on YouTube. Corey Taylor sent me here, that kind of thing. So it does work, and you know, having videos on YouTube helps. So they're, you know, the fans are putting in the effort.
Yeah.
So we have to kind of have to give back.
Keep it up.
Yeah.
We are, you know, speaking of the workshop, and the guy that's running the workshop, his name's Mark Hornsby, and Sweetwater people know who that is. But one of the things he was teaching to his class yesterday, or maybe it might have even been today, I don't remember, was about imagery and connecting with the fans. So if you're producing a record and these people spend all this money on the record, and then they don't pay for a professional photographer to do photos, or they don't pay for a graphic designer or whatever, the art can get lost, and so if you are investing in your band, and you're recording, it's cool to also spend some money investing in the billboard for your band. And I learned that, I've known Mark for years and learned that from him years ago. That was his first. He recommended I spend $1,000 on a photo shoot. I was like, "Are you mad? My sister took my picture for my last record, and it is awesome." And he's like, "And how many copies did that sell?" I was like, So I think that, you know, we're not breaking the bank with our videos or anything, but we definitely do put priority to it, because it's the vehicle to sell the music, which is ultimately what we want to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So what's next?
More music.
Brass rail.
Right.
Playing Brass Rail here in Fort Wayne?
Yeah.
And you played there before, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
were there a few times.
Yeah.
So you're Fort Wayne regulars then.
This is
Right.
our
I'm from
hometown.
Fort Wayne.
Are you really?
So,
How
yeah.
about that?
So I was never able to go to the Brass Rail when I lived here, so it's kind of fun to come back home and
Right.
play a
Love
show.
it.
Big homecoming. That's awesome.
It's a fun place to play.
Yeah.
I like it. We are writing and recording for a new record that we'll hopefully put out this fall. That's our agenda.
Yeah.
And unless some big
Just on
label
the road a
sweeps in
lot.
and changes it, then that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Right.
So we'll be writing and recording that. Probably, my guess would be on and off throughout the summer and fall as we continue to tour.
Right. Well, best of luck.
Thank
You know, I feel kind of left out. I have no X's. I have no
It
dead
happens.
name. Mitch
We can
Dead
fix
is
that.
kinda-
Oh, yeah?
you know,
My shit doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
we'll
We'll
work
have to
on
fix
that.
We'll
that.
take
Think
it. We'll
about
take
that
it to
a
the council.
Thanks so much for taking time out from the workshop, coming and talking to us. Congratulations on all your success.
Thank you.
It's great to have you here, and good luck with the upcoming album and everything.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much.
And thank you for joining me for the Sweetwater Minute. I'm Mitch Gallagher.